Alright, it's been a while since I put my backpack on and got out the door ready to take a flight, but here we are, ready for the next instalment on this channel. So I will be flying across the channel to Jersey, the largest of the Channel Islands. And whilst Jersey isn't part of the UK nor part of France, it is part of the British Crown, and therefore the British pound sterling is spent over there. So very much looking forward to getting going. Stay tuned, follow me on the journey. Let's go. So finally made it through security. Quite busy at Heathrow today, but I've got a couple of hours before the flight to Jersey now, so looking forward to that. But a little bit about Jersey. As I mentioned previously, it is not part of the United Kingdom, although I don't need my passport to fly. It is classed as a domestic flight because the island itself belongs to the British Crown. So it's roughly 14 miles north off the coast of France and about 85 miles south of the UK in the English Channel. So looking forward to it. And as usual on this channel, I'm doing it properly. So cheers. So I'm now on board the plane waiting to fly to Jersey. So it's going to be about a 1 hour flight down to Jersey from London Heathrow Terminal 5 here. And I have a window seat over there and we can see this chap waiting to get ready to rock and roll. But I have a nice view out over the wing. So if the wing falls off during the flight, I'll be sure to let you know, probably in the form of many screams, but I'll be sure to let you know. Enjoy. Now, as any responsible person should do, I am reviewing the security card, and nothing is of particular interest apart from this woman who's at a Tina Turner concert, and also this section here where maybe pan around.
Hold position, contact ground 121.905. Goodbye. 905, stay on
Perfect.
A few moments later.
Okay, good morning then from Jersey. So I have had a good night's sleep, although this morning I have realised that my room is full of ants, so I do need to speak to the staff here and get that sorted. But otherwise the room is a very nice little single bedroom and a nice small ensuite, but here is evidence that there is ants, and unfortunately there are ants all along the floor, and I even found them crawling into my drink on my bedside table earlier today, so that's not great. But what I am planning to do today is to head out into St Helier and see what the city has to offer. So let's go. Okay, so just walking around St Helier. So St Helier is the capital of Jersey, and what I've seen of it so far, it's quite quaint. And given the location of Jersey, it's no surprise really that there seems to be influence from France, but also the UK. And as you can see, it's quite an attractive little place. Apart from the fact that my bedroom was completely riddled with ants, everything's been lovely so far. But you can't have it all when you travel. So up here on the wall we have a sundial that says, regulate your clocks by the sundial. Correction must be made for the equation of time which is given in all the almanacs. So if you're able to work out what that means, good on you. But right next to it here we have quite an old looking police station. And it says here that this was Piquet House that was used as a military police station until 1926. Now billowing in the breeze here we have the Jersey flag, which is white with the diagonal red crosses. England of course being white with a horizontal and vertical cross, but here we also have the emblem of the island, the emblem which has 3 lions and a crown on top. Someone said, let's get the bunting out. And so here is a lot of bunting with the Union Jack and the Jersey flag. I can only imagine that given this is June, this was probably put out for the D-Day commemorations recently. But looks very nice. But I am now near the harbour area or the quayside, so I'm going to go and have a look at the boats. So here is the harbour itself. And I am no seaman, but I think the tide is out. That is my assumption at the moment. Or there's some terrible parking being done with these boats, but either way, I was half expecting there to be some grand yachts in the harbour here, because as many people will know, Jersey is often seen particularly as a tax haven. On my journey from the airport to the hotel yesterday, I got chatting to the taxi driver and he said that Jersey has a disproportionate amount of high net worth individuals who tend to buy property here and have assets and investments here because of the tax laws, which are much more favourable than they are in the UK. So income tax is capped at 20%, although if you have multi-millions you can negotiate with the government and pay less apparently. And also there is no capital gains tax, so if you buy a property and it appreciates in value, I don't know, 50%, you get to keep all of that. So I can certainly see why people would come here. Now taking a nice seat here just to relax and rest my weary legs after a 5-minute walk, but sat on a chair that is befitting of a man of my stature. So I've just climbed up the sea wall, and it says here that from 1943 to 1945 this area was a prisoner of war camp for 115 French North African soldiers who were brought to Jersey from France and Alderney. So I'm going to go and have a look around and see where that might have happened, but if I just step back a little bit here, you can see kind of the entrance to the fort. What a view! So in the distance there is Elizabeth Castle, which is on its own island, so I'm not sure how I'll get there, but I'll see if I can try and do it. But you can see just how beautiful the colour of the water is. I'm currently walking up to what I think is a fort and that military museum, so let's go. There is definitely a theme with these forts. They are on top of hills, they are quite painful to reach, and I'm sure that was part of the original design, but I would like to say to the architect, you didn't think about tourists after the war who wanted to visit it, so that's my only constructive criticism. Right, slight issue, the fort is actually a leisure centre. It's not what I thought would be a fort, but it does look quite interesting, so let's have a look anyway. So I think I've somehow stumbled upon a history tour, which is pretty good. And here we have quite large cannons, are they? Big weapons anyway. But just behind this wall here, there is an inflatable kids park, and you can probably hear the kids screaming, so I'm going to stick to the history side of things. Now as I walk back from Fort Leisure Centre, some may say that accidentally walking to a fort that turns out to be a leisure centre is poor planning. I see it as a skill. It shows that I can embrace uncertainty, and that I'm more than happy to go discovering what lies around me. But maybe I will Google things for the rest of the trip, because I've seen enough leisure centres now for the rest of the day. I don't know if you can see there, seagull and their babies. And you might be able to hear them. Well, it is a very big thumbs up from me so far for St Helier here on the island of Jersey. It's very quaint, very well kept, and it seems like everywhere you turn there's something interesting to look at. So far, so good. Does not appear to want me to stroke it. Beautiful gardens here in central St Helier. Incredibly well kept and very, very colourful. Alright, so just jumping on a ferry now to go to the castle that we saw earlier on, called Elizabeth Castle. So, hope we don't sink.
Bring the Sonne in mein Herz.
Alright, so now on the island of the Elizabeth Castle, where there are some cannons that date back to the 1500s, I was told. And we get quite a good panoramic view of the island itself in just a moment as I walk up to the castle. But already looks absolutely fantastic. It was about a 5-minute ride on a amphibious bus, I suppose you'd call it, to get to the island. And I'm going to have a look around now. Now, we were told as we arrived that Saint Helier is the patron saint of Jersey, and during his time on this particular island here, he was decapitated by pirates, but being the marvellous chap that he is, he was able to simply pick his head back up, put it on his shoulders and go about his business. So obviously not one to disagree with history, but yeah, sounds like some incredible things have gone on here. I've made a friend and he's asking for a crisp, so good catch there. Nice view back out to Jersey, and I was walking up that hill earlier on, and that building with the white top on top is the fort that I saw earlier. But I have been assured that the castle that's here is a real castle and is not just a castle that's a leisure centre. So let's go and see if that is actually the truth. Here we are in the parade ground. So here is the parade area. And the first sentence says that inspection, parade and punishment were part of daily life for a castle soldier. Here we are in an exhibition of firepower. I was just having a look at this cannon, and I think there is a cannonball inside it. I don't know if you can see, but it looks like there is still a cannonball in there. Beautiful view. Back to Jersey. St Helier is just behind here, and I'm going to start the ascent all the way up to the castle, Elizabeth's castle. Okay, so I think somehow again I've managed to find a way that I'm not meant to go up, because if you look there past that little seagull chap, that is not a safe way to walk. So I'll be going back down and finding another way. Now this looks a little bit more castle-ified than my previous attempt to enter it. I do hope this doesn't become a running theme on this channel that I can't get into forts. Well, so far I've had a cracking interaction with some seagulls, so all's well. I am officially the king of the castle. I do have a bit of a pant on because look at that! What a view! So I would imagine France is just over there. Nice long beach. And the flag of Jersey flying proud. Now this is fascinating. So this section that I was in just a moment ago was called the Upper Keep. And it says from here, cannon could bombard the enemy, fire a salute to a visiting ship, or raise an alarm for a vessel in distress. Flags were hoisted from here to call for a midwife, or candles lit to request a boat from the mainland. Can you imagine lighting a candle or raising a flag to get a midwife to come over? Yeah, probably more efficient than the NHS app actually. Here, normally between the hours of 5 o'clock in the evening through to 10 o'clock in the morning is covered with water, and therefore the bus that we use to get here turns into a ferry, and so you get a ferry across to Jersey. So I'm now at the breakwater, which is to the west of the castle on the northwestern side of this little island, and down here is another little structure, not sure what it is, so let's have a look. Yes, so this place here is called the Hermitage Rock, and it is the home of Helier, a hermit who lived here during the 6th century, and I'm guessing it's this downtrodden fellow here. Pirates murdered him, and according to the local story, Helier picked up his own head and carried it for 200 yards. He was later named as a saint and known as Saint Helier, which of course is the capital of Jersey and is over yonder, but I find no holes in that story whatsoever. Evidently this is someone who had their head chopped off by pirates and then carried it for 200 yards. Good morning on day 2 from Jersey. So today the plan is to go to the Jersey War Tunnels and then probably just have enough time to go to the airport and head home. Let's go. Let's go inside and learn a bit more about Ross. Mind your head. Yeah, well, sadly, at my height, that's never an issue. These are amazing, deep underground tunnels that 80 years ago were being used as passages during the Second World War. So I've just passed a plaque on one of the walls that says that in June of 1940 a decision was made that the Channel Islands would not be defended either by attacks from the sea or by the air. So anybody who lived on Jersey would need to leave. I did not realise that the Nazis were on Jersey, especially not having senior Nazi members coming over to the island to check on the progress of fortification. This says that this guy, Dr. Fritz Todd, was photographed at a proposed gun position at South Hill St Helier on this occasion. I wonder if that was where I was yesterday walking around, where the leisure centre ended up being. This looks like somewhere that perhaps a doctor would have worked, or somebody medically related, and those are stretchers in the background there, some crutches and some potions on the right hand side. And then as I come around, this is quite clearly the operating theatre for people that were here, but on the wall it says Zahnstation, which is teeth station, so this is the dentist room, or at least the dentist chair. Here's an example kitchen with some homemade saucepans made out of old food tins. So this is an air raid shelter that says it is for a maximum occupancy of 150 people. I'm not sure how you could fit 15 people in. Here is a telephone exchange where all lines terminated. And this was part of linking headquarters and the other command posts. And there's an example of what a telephone exchange would have looked like. This room here depicts how fraternising could happen between locals and German soldiers. And here we have an example of a lady falling in love with one of the soldiers. Here we have an example of an unfinished tunnel. Lots of different artefacts here from the Second World War. We've got radios and telephones, communication devices down there. Here are some sticks and hand grenades, some of the military uniforms, artillery shells and bullet casings, weaponry, some of the hats, some of the eyewear, gas masks, and then down here we have some guns and then also protective footwear. And here, amazingly, we have an Enigma machine. This one is dated from 1940, but of course there's a famous movie featuring or the story of Alan Turing, who was responsible for decoding messages sent by the Germans to their forces on the front line, which gave the British and Allied forces the advantage during the Second World War, which ultimately led to the end of the war. Absolutely amazing to see an Enigma machine here up close. It really is quite humbling when you walk through places like this, because you realise what has gone before you to allow us to have the freedom that we have today. And I'm guilty of moaning about modern life as much as anybody else, but it's when you come to places like this that you realise really our generation, or my generation at least, has had it far easier than those that have gone before us. So we should be thankful and definitely pay our respect. Well, having done the Jersey War tunnels now, I would 100% recommend it. If you're in Jersey, make sure that you spend an hour or two here just soaking up all of the information that is put on in front of you. Apart from just being an absolutely amazing exhibition, the stories are really well told, and it gives you a real insight into what it must have been like here during the Second World War. Welcome to Saint Aubin. Beautiful seaside town just down the coast from St Helier. Took about 10 minutes, went on the little train, which was great fun. Well, I'll certainly do my best, but nothing can ever be promised.